Welcome back to the Juicing Room podcast. We just had an audio issue for the last half hour, and we couldn't get the recording software to work, but we did finally. We did, and it's great. It's fantastic.
My name's SB Beauregard, and I don't have the coronavirus.
And I'm aggro, and I'm terrified of getting it. Healthcare sucks.
Yeah, well, well, actually, I can't really say it's worse here, but it's alright for the moment.
All right. Well, I think we should use that as a cold open. We should you know what a cold open is?
No, enlighten the viewer on
okay, cold open. But yes, I am aggro. This is SB, Juicing Room Podcast, episode number 7. We are
the very first one of 2020.
Yeah. And if you're wondering why this is so behind, why we're recording in March, fuck you.
Well, it's because of college. Let's be realistic here.
The cover! Look at this! Look at this! They're stacked up like cordwood! Referee's gonna count it! And it's over!
But now it's not been a graceful year.
Yeah. I mean, we started off World War III, then we had bushfires, and now we have coronavirus. So,
yeah, 3 of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Now we just need death to complete the cycle.
Oh no, the 4th one's gonna be Trump getting reelected. So
that's that. Okay. Anyway,
see, you can't even deny it because you know it's coming. It's literally just a waiting period.
Just shove the Biden right up the butthole of America and watch as he fondles it.
That's what's gonna complete the 4 horsemen. You get shot with the first 3 at the start of the year, and then the year is like, it might be getting a bit better, and summer might come along. There'll be a cure for the coronavirus. Everybody'll be like, yay! The trees are growing back in fucking Australia. Everybody's like, yay! There's no World War III. It's like, yay! And then November, December, slap Trump's president again. It's like, oh well, fuck this year.
All right. Our first segment, as per usual, is history, and this time we're covering my least favorite part of history.
We're covering the shit-stained turd.
Just kill me.
Yeah. Get ready for expressions that will fucking make you lose sleep, and cartoons that look like a fucking 2-year-old drew them.
It's like Tom and Jerry. They don't. The only reason why they did it was to renew, I think, trademark or something.
This did not need to be made. Yeah, this did not. Remember the hype going into this? Remember all the hype, and everybody was like talking about how this is gonna be so great.
To be honest, no.
I remember there was a shitload of hype going into this, and everybody was like talking about how great this is gonna be, because apparently like the last Tom and Jerry movie before this one was actually like really good, and everybody was like hyped as fuck. And then this
I fucking remember only thinking, God, this is gonna suck. Like, cause I've seen, like, I remember they did this trend. They started this trend a long time ago. They started it like in the early 2000s, and they started just making Tom and Jerry movies that incorporate elements of other films.
Didn't they do like something like Scooby-Doo or something at the start?
The beginning, it was there was a big race, and then I think they went to the moon or space. It was just simple stuff like that. And then they were like, oh, let's put them in the Wizard of Oz.
Oh yeah,
then let's put them in other things, and it was just like, no. And
it
made money.
let's put them in all this shit so we can keep our copyrights and trademarks.
I can't remember what else they've done. Let me fucking pull it up. But like, it's not fun. It's never fun.
It's painful. It's one of these days we're gonna have to watch it. We're gonna have to do a live stream watch it.
Fuck you. I'm not doing that.
Well, I'll just do it with Riddler and Candii then.
We have to. I just don't want to. That's the thing.
Well, the 4 of us will do it together, and the 4 of us will all suffer in pain, and we'll raise some money for charity.
hold on. I'm doing some research into the movies, and there's a new film coming out.
Yeah,
Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, Tom and Jerry get the.
It's a live action.
Tom and Jerry get the coronavirus.
Oh fuck me! Oh, this is great. Okay, okay. I got it. I got the list.
Okay, shoot.
Okay. I think the one of their biggest ones that started getting they have like Nutcracker, they have The Wizard of Oz, Back to Oz, Robin Hood, Giant Adventure. What the fuck? The Fast and the Furry? I remember that. I was like fucking so tiny. They meet Sherlock Holmes, and then like right at the fucking end is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And let me just to start talking about this. The fucking poster for this is the most egregious offense to the eyes.
It's like they just shoot all these fucking colors at you. It's
so many. Why the fuck is Tom blue?
It's like a fucking Oprah. You get a color. You get a color. You all get fucking colors.
Like I just, oh my god.
You better put a clip of that in.
If I can find one.
Well, you can find one more. Well, there's one with Oprah. And she just gives everybody weed.
I remember.
You get a bag of weed. You get a bag of weed. Everybody gets a bag of weed.
Okay, so like let's go through. Let's break this down. We don't have to break down the plot at all.
No, we're just gonna go straight to the scene.
The plot is Tom and Jerry, but it's the 1971 movie. But Tom and Jerry's characters are in it. That's it. It's
and there's no for
furries. No offense to furries.
Wow,
that's what it is.
They basically follow the trip, except they're under the guidelines of this little Oompa Loompa mouse. What's his name? Tuffy the intern. Who actually gives the only good scene in the movie when they're in the tunnel.
Oh, because it's the fucking tunnel scene.
It's actually they actually do a really good like reimagining of that with him.
I need to watch it. I only watched the fucking Barry scene.
No, you actually need to watch the Tuffy bit because it's actually
I was like for the sake of the podcast, I had to watch the Barry clip and it.
Yeah, that was
first
that was
off.
painful.
I want to point out the inventing room changes colors.
Yeah, it goes from like a subtle shitty brown to like a pissy yellow.
No, what I mean is like in the original movie, it's silver and like sleek and like chrome.
Yeah, but there's certain scenes where if we look at it, it's like shitty brown and then it transitions to like a pissy yellow.
That's like, fair. It's fucking Christ.
But it's not because the shadows or anything. It's literally it just happens.
I believe that. I think there's two inflations in this movie too.
There's one with Violet and then there's one with the dog. And guess which one is better?
I don't wanna. I don't wanna.
A big fact, it's the fucking dog. So
I know furries are great animators, but can we stop making furry porn in movies?
But yeah, that was an even bigger kick to the dick, considering how bad how fucking terrible this fucking scene is. It's not the actress's fault because they got Demi Lovato's sister, I think Dallas Lovato, and she's not bad.
No, it's just
it's the fact that
it's not a necessary film.
Away. Yeah, but when you actually look at the inflation, they cut away, so you rarely see anything of it.
I know that was intentional because they're trying their hardest not to have more people have the kink, and you know what? Good on them. They're trying, but that's not how that works.
Yeah, it don't work like this, son.
Like, I will have a hard time believing anyone got their kink or started getting their thing from it.
I'll
because
tell you for a fact, they did not get it from this fucking movie. They didn't
Like,
get it from this shithole.
they're because the animation is fluid. It's not as choppy as other Tom and Jerry movies. It's not as great as like the earlier movies, like Tom and Jerry the movie, or because I remember watching those movies, but it's not as choppy as previous ones. It's fine. It's just every single face is bad.
Yeah, there's some twisted in the mic ones.
There's a reason why Tom and Jerry are animals, and they don't show the fucking humans.
Yes, this movie should be the poster child for like why you don't put like fucking humans in Tom and Jerry, because you get this shit.
It's just like, oh, it's so.
So going back to the scene, like obviously it starts off the exact same way as 19.
It's a shot-for-shot remake, but Tom and Jerry is there.
Yeah, except like it's more like exaggerated. So like in the original one, like Gene Wilder, when he's playing Willy Wonka, he has the kind of like, yeah, I don't really care attitude, and you can kind of see it in his face. But this one just exaggerates it completely. Like he does not give one single fuck. He's just like hands resting on his chin. He's like, yeah, I couldn't be arsed. Yeah, fuck that little hoe. Don't care.
The color change is, immediate and purple.
The inflation's immediate as well. It's like it literally starts right after the color change.
And it's just
there's no build up or suspense to it. Like there's just like
it's clear they want to get to the slapstick. It's clear they want to not try and actually, do the movie. They just want the movie to be the background noise to Tom and Jerry, which is fine. It's just this was not a necessary movie.
No.
Not necessary. And the sad part is there will be a bunch of fucking kids who watched this movie and saw it and then started just diving into it, trying to who got obsessed with the movie, who then decided to watch the other two, who then got obsessed with the character, who will then develop some form of vestige of the kink. And we're going to have a whole generation who want to fuck Tom or the dog or something. And I just...
God bless. Thank God this is not the last interpretation of this scene. Because,
Praise Taika Waititi.
Blessed Taika Waititi's going to save us. He's going to save the community.
In all his New Zealand glory.
Oh, God bless that man.
Oh, for fuck's sake. It's just...
He's gonna make this glorious. He's gonna save us all, redeem the community.
What? It's just not necessary. 2017 and 2016 were both just awful years, weren't they? Because that's when this came out. It came out in 2017. Gene Wilder died in 2016, and to commemorate him, instead of making a nice, faithful adaptation, no, they decided to make Tom and Jerry in it.
Then no, I was gonna say Carrie Fisher died in 2017, but I don't think so. I think it might have been 20.
She died either last year or year before last. She
2016.
She died right after The Last Jedi.
Okay, so it's 20. Yeah, so it's 2017 then, because.
Oh, it was just fucking. Oh my
yeah.
God, dude.
George Michael as well. He died.
Oh fuck! Don't remind me.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I'm gonna
Go ahead. Sorry. Yeah.
No, you first.
I was gonna say, just fuck this scene in general. And,
oh,
apart from Della Savata, who gave she gave it her best. The two lines that she gave in this scene are actually pretty decent. So fair play to her.
They have more character interaction in the film, as far as I'm aware. They have more stuff, but it's not it's not great. And I there's this I don't know how to explain this.
Take a deep breath.
What happened in terms of Barry meme culture because of this film is great.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But what also happened is they beat the joke to death.
Oh yeah, they beat that fucker to death. That is just
there's a channel on YouTube who I think uploaded a remix of it. I don't know if they're in the community. I don't care. What I do know is that they did a remix of the scene where they did I know what it was. They are in the community. They're a person who it's not for the memes. It's because they were obsessed with the belt popping, specifically, and they did.
And you won't get that. You won't get that in this movie as well.
Or yeah, they do. They want. It's like I don't know what the immediate inflation, but essentially they took the "I feel funny" part where she says that as she expands, and like they sped it up, slowed it down. I'm like, Dallas Lovato, great person, lovely, lovely, lovely chick. I have no intention of listening to any more of her voice work because that ruined it. It made it so annoying. It made it ear-gratingly annoying.
You know what's even more kind of even the bigger kick to the dick. Violet as a berry has a total screen time of 2 minutes and 3 seconds. The dog as a blueberry has a total scene of 8 minutes and 4 seconds.
The dog has fucking what?
8 minutes and 4 seconds.
4 times as much screen time as
Yeah. And plus, with Violet, you do not get a round. She doesn't get round. Whereas in this one, he gets fully round. And even, I think at
so they are inconsistent with how it works.
Yeah. And I think he actually gets juice as well. So this is the only medium where we actually have like a visual juicing. So that's an even bigger kick to the dick. That's like stomping on the ground.
Oh, we're gonna have so many furries.
Damn fucking furries.
No offense to furries, but just Jesus Christ. We're gonna have so many furries.
No, nobody saw this fucking movie. They're like, fuck this shit.
I just remember I don't remember the hype. I remember the people who were like, "Oh, this is gonna suck."
I remember both. I remember the hype, and I remember people saying it was going to suck.
Also, if you guys hear a weird crunch, that's because I'm eating a carrot. Because this is my breakfast.
Yeah, nom bitches.
What's up, Duke?
Oh, Jesus Christ!
He's one healthy boy.
I don't understand. I guarantee you, what was happening was they decided to make an animated Tom and Jerry movie, and then, like, they were trying to pitch ideas, and in their pitch, they're like, "Well, Gene Wilder died recently. Let's just make a fucking Wonka movie." And then some fucking executive's like, "Yes,
and make that dog fat."
And then it's like those people who decided to dedicate like memorials to Denise Nickerson by using kink art.
Oh, I saw that. That was like so nasty. I was like, ugh.
Like,
at least, I gotta admit, some of us did it a little more respectfully. Like, we didn't we just put a random morph and we just mentioned it in the comments. But like, didn't include her in any way. It was of a completely different person. But like, it's like,
I think, it's just, I'm fucking,
So, that's, I guess that's the end of our history.
And I'm gonna say the ramifications of this will be irreparable. We will have,
Well, I do have a little surprise.
All right.
You know, I suppose when you finish history of one story, you move on to the history of another story.
All right.
And history is now, it's done and finished, but we're gonna have a new segment. And what it's gonna be, is it worth it? So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna make a tier list, and we are gonna go through. This has been highly requested. We're gonna go through every single female, underline the word female, blueberry crisp from TMC. We're gonna review it, and we're gonna decide if it's worth buying. And it will go on the tier list. It will go on the tier list. So there's like 7 pages, and we're really far behind. And we know these podcasts are going to take a while. So what we're going to do is, in each episode from now on, we're going to do a whole page of them. So it could be.
No, I think we should do it one at a time. That way we can space it out. Because like a whole page, like that'll be so many we have to watch. Those are like that's an hour. That's like an hour or two of time.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
I don't have an hour or two of time.
We're losing time!
Well, we'll have to make time.
No, let's do it one at a time, and then like
we will never catch up.
That's the point. Like, the content will never be dry. We can keep making this shit. And do you really expect that website to update that frequently when the last update for Barry Clip came a month ago?
So you think that TMC is going to die eventually?
I fully think, not that they're going to die, but they're going to stop making Barry Clips because people keep fucking pirating them like jackasses.
Okay, you know what? Just for that, so we'll do that, and what we do is we're gonna skip the first 4 that are just color changes.
Oh, I love the color changes.
Okay, because I think
I only have one of I have all 3. Holy shit! Ah!
No, we should do the first suit one because I think that's what the people want. That's what the people have been asking for. And we'll start off with that.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So we're never going to run out of content for this one.
We're going to start off with Beulah.
That's not actually a bad clip either. It's one of the...
It's actually... When you actually put it into the broader spectrum of like all the clips that have been out since that one,
we should.
It actually ranks pretty high.
Save.
The fuck?
We gotta save it. We're reviewing the clip already. We gotta save it.
I was just gonna say that it's a pretty decent compared to majority of clips.
It is.
God, it's gonna be so painful for some of them because I'm already getting flashbacks.
I don't know if I can sit through the Russian one.
Oh no, that's like
sit through.
No, that's such a good clip. It's one of those clips that's so bad it's good.
I don't know if I can sit through it without laughing.
Oh no, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna sit there and just gonna piss myself laughing. This is gonna be hilarious.
I can't. And then the twin one is the one that's really gonna get me.
Oh no! There's been so many twin ones though.
The one with actual twins, not like pair. But
I haven't seen that. See, I haven't seen a TMC clips for over 2 years now.
Jesus, did you just delete them all?
Yeah, I just deleted them all.
Alright, I'm gonna have to fucking fuck.
I
have to buy them again.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to buy them again. But I deleted them all because I was like, you know what? I'm making room for my candy berries.
Ooh, that's very nice.
So
That's fair. All right. Well, that's the announcement. I can deal with that.
I see you were getting all worried about it. You thought it was gonna be some fucking. You were gonna.
That's something I was thinking about doing a side series on the channel, but now we can fucking just do it.
We could do it. We could do it as both. We do it like in between, like.
Because yeah, we could do that. That'd be even better. We could just record. Here's our review of porn.
Yeah.
We can't show a single ounce of it because this is YouTube. But
let's see. What we'll do is we'll most likely just put up pictures of certain bits.
I'll have a loop of the preview clip.
Yeah, that works perfectly fine. Though I know for a fact in some preview clips there is,
I'll figure out how to censor. I will try.
I think there's one clip that doesn't have a preview clip, so we'll kind of have to just like.
If it doesn't have a preview clip, I'll just make one.
Hey, there you go. See.
Stonks.
Okay.
Did you just say stonks?
Yeah.
God
but it's just I got a good feeling. I got a really good feeling after this announcement. So Grandpa Joe.
Fucking Jesus.
He's the type of cunt that wouldn't download Raid Shadowberries, which is actually our sponsor. Raid Shadow Berries is one of the biggest mobile role-playing games of 2020. It's totally free. Currently, almost 0 users have joined the raid since its launch. It's one of the shittiest games with models that are drawn in Microsoft Paint. Environments made by a 10-year-old Vietnamese child, and with a slow -5 frames per second in each animation. All the champions could be customized with shitty gear that will do absolutely nothing for your game.
Frames. That is so fucking bad. That's playing in reverse. The game is playing in reverse.
The dungeon pedophiles have the same shitty lack of skills, and figuring out how many of them are simps requires a strategy that'll leave you with less friends than ever before. Currently only 2 reviews. It has an almost perfect negative score of -4.5 stars. The community is also dead and filled with retarded kids who can't stop sniffing crayons. And the highly new addictive stealing artwork wars is live. Hell, you might even find a shitty rare berry. It's easier now than ever before to start now with the new daily login reward for the first 90 days. But we all know you won't last that long because you can't even last that long in the bedroom. So what are you waiting for? Go to the video description to receive a big fuck you and click on the link for a free dick pic. Use the code I'm a simp and you'll get 2 squashed berries and a rare candy berry champion as part of the new players program to start your journey. Good luck, and I hope to never see you ever again.
You wrote this fucking down, didn't you?
No, it's off the top of my head.
How many fucking Raid Shadow Legends sponsorship videos have you seen?
Too many.
Jesus
Christ.
Yes, that was intense.
Yeah, I had it perfectly. I had it going perfectly until you fucking ruined it halfway through.
It's not a real game.
Shut up! It is. It's our sponsor.
It's not. We don't make money off of this.
It's our goddamn sponsor. Shut the fuck up.
We don't make money off of this.
My dude, we will not make any money off this because you're basically just tearing their game.
Don't
you
exist.
Asshole. Raid Shadow Berries does exist, damn it. Okay, it's a fun ass game. Just ask the 2 people that played it.
All right.
Anyway, speaking of stuff that I would like to see is more sponsors, but apart from that, I guess that leads us to our first discussion.
We're having a discussion on who would make the best berries as celebrities.
Best Violet,
right?
So you might as well go first, you know.
I have an investment to say that Selena Gomez would, mostly because it's Selena Gomez.
Okay, tell me why. Enlighten me. Sell this to me.
When I was younger and I watched Wizards of Waverly Place, she was very good at being the sort of, not entitled, but the rude, bratty kind of person. She was really good at being a character that she's not in real life. And so she could embody the brattiness of the character very well.
Okay, that's fair.
As well as, she looks nice blue, and in blue.
She looks nice blue. Oh God. You haven't sold it to me. You've partially sold it to me. Like I'm thinking about buying it. I'm thinking about handing you the $1, but you know
Well,
convince me more.
We also
sell it to me, damn it.
She just would have good chemistry as the character, I think, and would embody it well. The main issue is like how we would adapt it to match her age currently.
You know, she was gonna be in. I always find it funny that she was actually gonna be. She was in the kind of. She did audition for the role, which I find funny. In like the 2005 one, so.
Honestly, I'm not surprised, but that's cool.
Yeah, we could have had a completely different, it could have been the actual. Could have been something like that gift that we made.
Yeah, I forgot about that gift. Here it is now.
You want to see something intense?
And we're done.
Oh yes, I love that piece. That took so long to make.
It did. You're welcome.
Oh yes, you did you did all audio for. Yes.
I did all of that on my phone.
The morphing took forever. Was what
I did all of that audio on my phone, dude. In a hair salon. I had to get a haircut, and I was like, I have to fucking do something. And I was bored out of my mind, so I'm like, oh, fucking do this now.
Mm.
I did all of that in a. Oh fuck, dude.
All right,
Yeah.
well, that's okay. If you've sold it to me, here I'll give you the $1 now.
All right, let me hear yours. Let me hear yours, you fucking nugget.
Don't call me a nugget, you dirty little pizza slut.
You're a fucking nugget.
Well, you're a cheesy cracker. And a boy. But yeah, no, my pick is obviously Ariana Grande. You know, it's that simple. The look, like she has the look down perfectly. She looks like a bitch. She's very good.
Just walk up to Ariana Grande. You look like a bitch.
It goes along something like this. You're a bitch. Oh, you're a bitch, a bitch, a bitch, a bitch, a bitch.
She'd probably take it, knowing her.
You're right. It's just really funny.
But she's really good. She's really good at portraying herself as like a horrible bitch, a diva, which is all attributes that Viola has, and just like the look, the ponytail, you know, that's like screams like, "Fuck you, aristocracy! I'm higher than you, bitch. Kiss my feet." You know, and of course she blows great bubbles. I mean, what else can you ask for?
That's fair.
I mean, like, have you seen those bubblegum skills? Those are like A-class ones.
Yes, that's true. She also has that aesthetic that's kind of like, it's not. There's a robin outside of my window and it's being weird.
Killer.
Just standing there.
Killer.
But no, she also has that aesthetic that's like, it's like bimbo chic, not true bimbo, but bimbo chic, where she tries to look not fake, but attractively false, I guess. That's bad nomenclature. She wants to put off the aesthetic of a different sort of like she wants to put off bimbo chic.
Yeah.
Nice.
Plus, like, you can imagine, like, if there was a group of celebrities, you know, she'd be most likely just like, I'm gonna take this girl.
That's fair. You sold me.
See, like, anything.
Who do you think would make a good adult or older Violet? Type in the comments below. I read every one of them, or try to, and let me tell you, oh boy.
Oh yes, I also read the comments usually when I'm waiting for a college lecture and preparing for my ultimate sleepy demise.
Tell us what you want below. If we like them, we might shout you out. Don't hold me to that.
We won't.
Don't hold me to that.
We might give you a free champion on Raid Shadowberries.
It's not a real game.
It's our first sponsor. I'm going to plug this thing up the ass. They're giving us
a sponsor.
Damn it, they're giving us berry juice we can sell for money, okay?
That'd be the weirdest fucking game.
Well, it is the weirdest fucking game. You must have read one of the reviews.
Alrighty. Well, now that we have covered the discussion topic, a rather shorter discussion, but nice little fluff one. Nice little short one to cover a base. Let's move on to the artist of the week.
Oh yes.
This artist is very talented. They are doing something that I would like to cover later on.
Good look at this on YouTube.
But essentially, the artist is, I believe their name is Fat Factory 88.
Yes, that is correct.
And they have some fucking talent, some really interesting skills that I will elaborate
it's
on.
It's eye-catching. It's very eye-catching, their content.
Yeah, and they make 3-dimensional fully rendered blueberry chicks in animation.
They have the white game as well. Just
They have they do. They have that too. I remember seeing them for berries.
yeah.
And it's really well done. Like as opposed to like previous Barry 3D stuff prior to him, which was I think there was Eating and Breedings who they weren't bad. They were just very robotic.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to think of a couple others. There's Eris Manners, which was actually okay.
Well, I think
overall,
the difference with this one is just the cleanliness and the like.
It's the cleanliness and it's the fluidity.
It just looks so fucking clean when it's like.
It looks professional. It looks like this dude does this stuff for a living, and it's stylized. It's pretty. It's nice.
Oh yeah.
You want to see more.
Sadly, they haven't been active since March, I believe. But that's actually not March. Sorry, January, I think.
Yeah,
February. But they're it's because their computer basically fucked up.
Yeah, and I'm sure they'll be back sometime in the future, given the chance. They do some phenomenal work though, so go ahead and give them favorites and stuff. You know what to do.
Yeah, you know what to do. Just
It's got a nice coverage of bases, and
click on tell them all, do some room podcasts, send them,
and then immediately disavow us for some reason.
Yeah,
but yeah, they're very good colors too. That's the thing that got me was it was a very good color palette and good lighting match. With Eating and Breeding's art, they're a lot darker, and the color palettes are a lot more contrasted, and the lighting is hit or miss. And with Eris Manners, the lighting is pretty consistently from above, even when it's not supposed to be, but that's not too bad. Like I said, Eris Manners only done it like for one thing, and honestly, it's interesting to look at to see.
Yeah,
I honestly encourage y'all to go over there and enjoy the view. I think one of their pictures.
I love that. Enjoy the view, guys.
I think one of their pictures is just a berry like squirting, and it.
Yeah,
it's
that's. I'm not into that shit, but if you're into it,
great.
Go for
it. Kinky
fucks. You weird kinky fucks. You disgraceful. I shouldn't be saying that because someone's probably gonna be jacking off to that or something.
I'm gonna interject and say I think before the interview we should have one tiny segment covering I've covered two, or I've bought two like things of blue. I'm not gonna lie. I bought 8 things of blueberry content.
Well, goddamn, boy, where's all this money coming from?
Nowhere. I decided to tap into some of my savings. But
I was gonna say you could be like that thing from like DuckTales where you jump into the money. It's like fucking coins.
No,
it's like secret vault for like fucking blueberry content.
No, I bought. Okay, here's what I did. I bought in the last couple weeks. I got a bargain deal on our interview guest Woods. I got all 5 of his berry clips, and they're good. They're phenomenal. I might add some sound to them because we've talked about interacting in that way. Then I bought the Bishoujomom one, which was.
We'll talk about that in the news.
Yeah.
The Bishoujomom.
Yeah, and then I got the BeauregardeBBW one too. That was good.
Oh, I actually haven't seen that yet. It looks pretty like okay.
It's not bad. The thing is it's a little quiet, and it's more fat centric than it is berry centric, But
Yeah.
but since Beauregard has the kink, she's trying it, and it's really good. It's very nice. It's a very pleasant clip. I'll tell you,
Yeah.
Beauregard's stomach is mesmerizing.
Yeah, I don't know. I've watched one of her videos before, and the acting was kind of a bit like meh. Like it was the Danish one.
Oh, really?
I watched it, and the acting was kind of like
Yeah.
it was okay, but it kind of felt a little robotic. So I don't know. It kind of put me off the
Alrighty.
content, but like it could be good. Like it's it's always great to get like
Yeah. The general plot of it is like she can't stop eating Wonka bars, which are just general chocolates, and then she has some diet gum and then inflates at the end.
Isn't there's also like another one where she actually turns blue? I think it came out last week.
Yeah, it's something.
Oh, right.
She's done a couple.
We'll talk about it in the news segment because that's like. But I know you want to talk about what's.
No, they have good clips. They have one clip that is transformation, one clip that is a popping, one clip that's a point of view sex, one clip that's a dildo sucking, and then one clip that's
I'll just state that I haven't watched any of these, so I'm just gonna let.
They're not bad.
Work away.
They're not bad. They're not like all it needs a few sound effects, and it can go well. Other than that, we'll lead right into the interview. This should we're pre-recording this, so hopefully this should go well. But yeah. And welcome to the interview portion of the podcast. We are here today with a special guest. I mentioned them earlier. Woods Kink Cafe. Say hello, Woods.
Hi, how's it going?
Alrighty. SB, would you like to ask the first question? Or do you want me to?
Well, since you got our lovely guest here, you have the honors, of course.
All right. I have to ask every single time to every single guest this first very important question. But what got you into this wonderful mess of a kink?
So it's a funny story because I feel like I don't know anybody who probably had the same like awakening that I did. I'm a fetish model and I get a lot of like custom clip requests, and I've just kind of fell into this weird niche where people just ask me just the weirdest thing that they can think of, and I'm just like, yeah, of course, fuck yeah, that sounds hot, like I'll do it. So I started off with getting a blueberry fetish request, and I had already like heard and seen a lot about it because I'm into like fetism, weight gain, inflation, so they're all kind of like tertiary kinks, I would say. So I've been like witness to that fetish and that community. So I was like, fuck yeah, I'll do it. And as I was doing the custom, I found myself putting more and more effort into it and more like of a thought process behind it, because I like intellectualizing like kinks and like getting into the psychology and shit because I'm just like a sex nerd. Yeah. And as I was filming it, I was like, damn, this is actually really hot. Like, I think I'm into this. Yeah, I'm about this. Cool. This is a new kink. And just on kind of like a whim, I had taken pictures of me in like this, it wasn't like a Violet Beauregard cosplay, but it was like myself, like as a blueberry. The clip was like complete transformation from like me normally, and then like two intermediate, like, turning into blueberry forms, and then the final blueberry form. And I sent that to my crush at the time because why not? Like, they knew what my job was and stuff, and I like talking about like the weird kinks I get into. And they're like, oh damn, that's really cool. Also my fetish. And this is why I like it. And I was like, oh, interesting, because I did not know this about them. Like, I knew they like transformation and stuff, but they were like, that's really hot. Here's a commission that I had done of me turning into a blueberry. And I was like, oh, really? interesting. And we basically spent like the whole, I would say like 3 days, but like 3 days straight, but like within the week of just texting back and forth, like fantasies, like reasonings behind why they liked it, why I was kind of drawn to it. And they ended up sending me a I don't know if you guys might be familiar with it was like a online type novel called In Search of Fancy Bread by Maggie.
Oh yeah. I
That
guess
was
I
a
know what
huge
you mean.
thing.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, so that was really eye-opening because it's just like a damn good story. Like fetish or not, like it really is good at like getting into the psychology behind it. So that was like very much these are the things that are hot. This is why I think they're hot, and you can basically choose, like pick your poison basically when I was reading that, you know. And it hit on themes of like, you know, struggling with like why do I like the things I like, which has very much been a thing I'm into. But yeah, reading that cemented uh my fetish and figuring out what aspects of blueberry I was into.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's similar. There was a couple of times in which a few people detailed to me that they didn't get into the kink solely from the films or the typical mediums, but through alternative means like content creation or consumption of content that wasn't the film. So it was very interesting. It's very interesting to hear that alternative path in.
Sure, lots of people get into the fetish regardless in different ways. Like I didn't get through the movies. I got in through the Mila Kunis scene. That's what originally got me into the whole.
I remember you got it through that '70s show.
When I did watch the Willy Wonka movie, it did make me feel like some type of way. But I think I mostly attributed that, like, as I got older to the, like, expansion and, like, weight gain, inflation aspects and not necessarily the blueberry. And then I was, like, through exploring the blueberry fetish, I realized, oh, I see these different aspects that also are hot that add to it together.
Yeah. So, like, I suppose, like, did you kind of show it off to anyone else in, like, the fetus, like, community? Like, obviously, the people that you work with, like, what were the reactions they had when they were, like, being explained to what it actually was?
A lot of my friends that are in the community and that, like, you know, enjoy my content, no matter if they're my friends or not, told me that I converted them. From doing my various clips and stuff. They're like, "Why do you keep giving me these weird fetishes?" And I'm like, "Cause it's my job." But yeah, especially a lot of people in like the weight gain and like inflation community already, like I think you just need to get that window of like, oh, I already like this person's content or find them hot, and now they're doing this thing. And it's like, oh, yeah, that makes sense, you know? So
Yeah.
a lot of people were into it who were not into it already. And then a lot of people came out of the woodwork like, oh, I'm also into this. Thanks for doing this content. I'm like, cool.
There was there is a similar sort of event that happened in the last couple years. Every subsequent Halloween for the last like 2 years, there has been a trend in which makeup artists and just cosplayers and costume artists would, this was like, I think the first person to ever really do it with a platform was Ellie Addis.
Yeah, that was the very first person. She kind of set the trend off.
But like essentially they wouldn't do full blue makeup. They would just blue the nose or like tidbits and wear clothing.
They would do like the start of like the 05 scene.
Yeah, and that was kind of how like a ton of people either came to that dark side or came to that light realization or realized
to the dark side. We have cookies.
Yeah, that's actually funny because around the time I had gotten the like the custom clip request, a makeup artist that I follow, Snitchery, also did like a blueberry look, and I looked at her particular, you know, because she also just did like the nose and stuff.
Right.
I looked at that as like reference to making my look for the clips.
Oh,
Oh,
That's
interesting.
see, those are really like makeup artists are really good in being able to emulate this kind of stuff and being able to bring it out to. Because your makeup is very well done in that clip specifically, in those clips specifically.
Oh, thank you.
No problem. What's the biggest hurdle, like in terms of content creation? Like, what's the biggest hurdle, the biggest thing that you'd have to like overcome, or you have to, like when it comes to clip making or when it comes to this kind of stuff? Because we've had creators who do art. We haven't had too many creators that do video or stuff beyond.
I think we've had a few that done morphs as well. Like
yeah, we have. So what's the biggest hurdle when it comes to video content creation?
Especially when it comes to like the more fantastical, like Blueberry, or I've done like a lot of like impregnation fantasies and stuff. I think the biggest hurdle for me is figuring out how to take what this person is really into and then kind of do justice by it, I suppose. Like, because as of this point, I haven't really done any like special effects or anything like that. It's all practical effects. Most of what I do with like the Blueberry and like the impreg stuff is just like padding. So I use like pillows and clothes and like put it under my clothes and then have to like morph it into like something kind of round, you know? So it's a lot of it just like it's like getting into a weird creative part of my brain of like problem solving. I'm like, how am I supposed to do this? One person in particular just recently ordered a custom for me. It's like water hose inflation, like the fire hose inflation from a particular movie.
That niche that's starting to build. Yeah,
and I was
it's a
like,
small
okay,
niche,
cool.
but it's starting to build up.
And I was like, cool, I can definitely do this, but also like, okay, now I have to figure out how to do this.
Yeah.
And especially because like I live in kind of like a small house. I only have like a decent amount of like I have like 2 little lighting rigs, and I mostly film like on my webcam just for like ease, you know? So it's figuring out what do I have that I can kind of like just create this scene and make it fantastical, you know?
Right.
And that is like one of the more dangerous clips to actually make in terms of like inflation, because you can end up like fucking your whole carpet up if you have any in your room, or you could even choke. Like I remember when TMC did it, and it's like a shitload of their models like complained because they were like choking the water, or like they were nearly drowned.
The thing about it is, like Blueberry has given rise to a large portion of what I consider what you've said tertiary kinks that are offshoots of it, in which there are transformations or inflation sequences that one wouldn't fetishize unless put into that position or brought into a platform. So these things are rising because essentially because somebody made something for it, which is interesting because it shows the reflection or the relationship between content creation and content creation and content consumption.
And that's what I love about, especially when like fetish models and content creators like end up working with or having relationships with like artists or like just other content creators, because it ends up being this like mixing pot of ideas, and then people are getting inspired from other people and putting their own spin on things, and then different kinks kind of spring from that too. When this is a kind of a tangent example, but when I was still really working Tumblr before the purge, basically, fetism was like very kind of like one note, you know. It's been around for a while, but it's pretty basic. It's like fat people are hot and we want to see them fatter, and then you use food to get fat, you know. But with the Tumblr community, it ended up becoming such of a just a community space that people were able to like write text posts about their fantasies, make more art, and then models or people who just like, you know, doing selfies would then use those as inspiration to do pictures of themselves and different things like slob fetish. I had never even heard of really being a thing until fetism Tumblr kind of latched onto a specific aspect of fetism or weight gain or whatever. So things just kind of like pop out from the brain of like one big fetish, it's fun to see.
Yeah, Tumblr really has those things where it can really lead to a whole bunch of different ideologies of fetishes.
It's quicker than DeviantArt. DeviantArt,
oh
needs,
yeah,
like even with their Eclipse update, which was an opt-in, opt-out at first, it's a lot quicker than Tumblr. Or no, Tumblr's a lot quicker than DeviantArt. So you have the same ability on DeviantArt. It's like snail mail comparative to email.
It's pretty much like your Internet Explorer to your Google Chrome.
That kind of makes sense because I think a lot of DeviantArt content has a little bit more thought put into it, whether it's art or writing or morphs, whereas on Tumblr you can just kind of snap a pic or like write a quick text post or like edit a picture or something,
Tumblr was like the heyday of shit posts that wasn't 4chan.
Yep.
The good shit posts that were actually shit and not garbage. And DeviantArt is more of a portfolio building site. So you can still do that stuff on DeviantArt. It's a lot more regimented and rigid and uniform, and you can't really flow with it. Like every Tumblr page, every Tumblr blog had its own design when it was in its heyday. You could just do whatever you wanted. And now, if you post anything that vaguely resembles a chubby body or boobs, no. But if you're racist, you can stay.
Oh yeah, exactly. Funny how that works
like
out.
DeviantArt feels it's also a lot harder to get your name kind of out there. I feel. Yeah. Well, I felt it actually like we always see like new artists kind of show up and then it's like they don't really get like any support, so they just kind of fade away, which sucks. But what can you do?
And I feel like I haven't really been much in the community of DeviantArt, but like I do watch and like experience a lot of its content. That's still a place that I go. I feel like there's a lot less wiggle room to just like be authentically like just weird or goofy or something. A lot of the things that get a lot of praise are things that you can tell have put a lot of effort into it, or just like kind of new and exciting or like more niche. Whereas Tumblr, a lot of like the popularity you can get is if you just do like a dumb text post, or it's just like it's more like on a whim,
I have no bedtime and I fear no God.
Yes, literally. Like you just have to write
posts.
Yeah, you just have to write something dumb, and then people are like, "Ooh, I like you. I want more of this."
And that kind of bled the intersection of those two communities kind of bled into the formation of Discord communities and Discord chats. I've noticed. Because when the Tumblr purge happened and when DeviantArt started becoming a little more cold and more like empty, people, when social media becomes a ghost town or becomes unpopular, people abandon it and seek information elsewhere. So you see this massive demographic movement from one place to another, and the foundation of a lot of fetishists and inflation servers was due to what could be considered a flight from these places being unaccepted. You can still see stuff that's sexual on both of those pages. They're just mainstream sexual and very much like, if you're a kinky person, you're like, this is boring. I don't like this.
Yeah. I think like even like with that, like with DeviantArt, like when a lot of the morphers like retired, and it was kind of just like, it really just felt like it was me and Jingle that was left, and that we were the only two morphers that were left, and we're kind of just like twiddling our thumbs. And then Discord finally came around, and it was like, oh, well, there's your intersection between DeviantArt and Tumblr.
Yeah, I found that very interesting because it happened similarly in the sex work community because, a lot of this started from like FOSTA and SESTA, which is basically a bill just demonizing anything that could be considered sexual because under the guise of like human trafficking, even though it was mostly just like a morality.
Child trafficking too.
Yeah.
With COPPA even.
Yeah. And it happened similarly on, in Europe as well, under like a different name. But a lot of the times that is used as like a scapegoat for just, morality policing. And a lot of the sex workers. Yeah, exactly. A lot of the sex workers had to find different avenues to, post their content. And so many people went to Twitter. And I find that it's interesting because Twitter has such a big like furry scene as well. that I feel like a
It's
lot of sex
huge.
workers have like kind of dipped their toes into the more like fantastical fetishes because we're now in a different environment, and it's not just like artsy pics, you know, because Tumblr was very like artsy ho, you know, whereas
Yep.
Twitter is more like bold and like trying to find the things that are going to get people's attention because it's like so quick. So many people have been, so many people have been getting out of their comfort zone, I see, just to kind of like appeal to like a wider base, especially because and it's not just furries, but like furries had been on Tumblr for like a while. At least like when I came on, it was just like in the sexual sphere, it was like so many
You'll
furries.
always find furries.
Yes, exactly. And they have
You'll
such a wide range of tastes as well. So getting into that, I see so many people trying new things, which is fun.
On a commentation about Twitter, I want to point out that it has become like inflation and size content, which is what we would fall under blueberry inflation, weight gain, etc., has become so much more mainstream in the last like decade.
Oh yeah.
That I want to point out 3 things have happened. One, we've had cosplayers actually start
last week.
Like, what's the term? They start
engaging
or trying to engaging with it. 2, the IWW, otherwise known as the International Workers of the World, posted actual furry fetish porn with an edit of it to make it so that it was anti-capitalist, which is fucking phenomenal to find out.
Bless.
And then prominent leftist creators have actually started engaging more with sex workers and trying to figure out how to involve them too, because it's starting to become very prominent that what happens to sex workers and to the people who are marginalized will tend to flow up to the people who even have the most privilege in the worker sphere.
Exactly. It's really going on the sex workers bit. It's really an instance of, if you allow something to happen to like one particular group, then it just makes it more normalized than happen to other ones. But on the opposite end, a lot of the times I've found when things get a little bit more stifled and more I'm trying to think how to word this, but when morality comes back into play, like demonizing sex basically, and if you want to take sex at like its most vanilla, think of just like, you know, just fucking, avenues open up where people have to then censor themselves to be less quote unquote sexual and more creative, you know? So I think that may be partly why there's been such a rise of size kink and like other fetishes being a little bit more normalized, because it's easier to find content like that than having to find shadow banned sex workers doing like missionary sex, you know? And I'm sure there's other reasons as well too. I feel like probably just generationally, like we've grown up with some weird cartoons, and now we're all getting old enough to like make our own art. So that's probably a reason too. But I do find that when things get a little bit more censored, I do feel like people get a little bit more creative and things come up from the woodwork that usually would have been very underground.
Oh, absolutely. And I would like to point out that like Twitter has its own form of like Tumblr-esque policing of sex workers. They tried to, at least, and it didn't really function well because it sort of took a lot of their user base away for a short time, and it really hit their bottom line. And on top of that, the way that sex workers I saw really adapted to that was they just started becoming a little more text-based or a little more tease-based, and they started diversifying their platform usage. Like they would get OnlyFans, and they do multiple places as opposed to market and say, look, if you want to know more about posts, and go find me here. I don't really check my DMs or something like that. It's very interesting to watch how we adapt to pressure in society.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, big time.
All right, and then what do you plan? Like, what are your plans for the future? Like, with kink and with regards to this kink or other kinks related to it.
I am like waggling my eyebrows right now because I have lots of plans. I'm trying to get more into special effects. I've been very much into the practical effects because it's just like what I got on hand and I just do it. But I want to do more special effects, more morphing. My friend Leviathan, he's also a sex worker that I work with a lot. Like super huge guy, like 700 pounds, very into like feudism stuff. He is really into also just the fantastical fetishes, and we've done Hobbit porn and like Harry Potter shit.
I'm almost certain you guys have done a few clips together as well. I'm almost certain.
Yeah. We do crazy shit, and we've been talking about more like props and stuff, like more long base, like fantastical, like maybe D&D type things. And he also recently got like a God, what are they? I always forget what they're called, but like the body spray, you know, like the airbrushing kit.
Oh yeah.
I want to do a blueberry clip where I'm completely blue all over with like an airbrush, because I do like the look of like digital bluing, but there's something.
I will tell you from personal experience, it takes fucking forever. It is so painful, so painfully long.
It's worth it, it seems like.
Yeah, I'm excited. And at least like I don't think I'm gonna try to do like my whole body. Like I'll try to find a couple ways to make it a little bit less time, but I'm ready. I'm ready for it. I want to see how it looks because I haven't really seen that done. I've seen it done in like some girl, she did like a monster like pink thing. Oh, I remember one girl, she did like a princess. Yeah, and then another girl did like a Princess Bubblegum cosplay where she painted her whole body pink as well, and that looked really cool. It is like a tangibility.
Doing that, yeah. Just like cosplay porn's also taking off, which is people are capitalizing on really well, and it's actually really interesting to watch happen. But
yeah, totally.
But yeah,
when going into the world of special effects and morphing for this, just be prepared for really long nights and really long hours, and times where you're going to be really stressed and pissed off. So
and build bridges, don't burn them.
Yeah, it's painful. It's like earlier on, me and Zane were talking about one of the things we made, and it's only like 4 seconds long, but it took like 4 or 5 days to make.
Yeah, it took him. It's like a 30-second clip at maximum, but it took him like, because he had to put the head onto a body and then like
you have to morph every single frame of each like second, and each second is like 10 frames. So it's like
and he did it over a couple days, and then I had to do the audio, and I didn't have the software that I have at the time to do audio and video, so I had to do it on my phone, and I did it like in a couple hours because I was waiting for like my haircut. So I was like, "Fuck, I got to do this. I'm gonna be here for hours."
Yeah, at that point, it's definitely like a labor of love.
We don't make money.
You get so excited at first when you're starting it, and then when you're actually doing it, it's like, oh, what the fuck have I got myself into?
That's a mood. Like I'm such a perfectionist with a lot of my things, so I'm like, no, I have to do it like this, and then before I know it, the whole day has been gone just trying to film this thing. And it's also like there is. I am doing it for money, so because it is my job.
Yeah.
So there is some semblance of like I might get something out of it, but you also never know if people are going to respond to it or going to buy it. You know, so it's an investment that you don't know it's going to pay off. Luckily, the blueberry really paid off. It was just like I was shocked at how much people supported that, and it reminded me of like the furry community as well, in that they support a lot of their artists. And
you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
We've been hammering it away forever because like we had a huge piracy and distribution problem, and
we kind of still do. Let's be honest, we still do.
We've had to curtail it because like we've curtailed it because like these people would just not care that these creators were suffering because of it. And
Cough, cough, BBW Chan. Yeah, cough, cough.
fuck that site.
Literally. No, yeah, that's also with the fetism in the BBW community really hard. And that's why I think doing Blueberry and all these other fetish has been such a mind blow, because a lot of the fetus community and like people who are into BBWs and weight gain and fat people, they have this they believe like they're deserving of content, and I think it comes with something that is more commonplace, like weight gain. So you're able to see it pretty easily. Like if you Google like Rob Kardashian weight gain, that's just like a random thing. But you know, like you Google something and then you can see it. It's a lot easier to fulfill that fetish because it's more commonplace. Not necessarily the fetish is, but seeing it in real life is. So
Right.
people
It's an
get
entitlement thing.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Yeah, it's definitely people like thinking they're entitled to someone's content because like, oh, you're not doing anything, you're just sitting around and getting fat. And it's like, no, that's actually a lot of work. And also filming is a lot of work. And
As well, I'm certain obviously like models have to like keep themselves in shape, so like they'll have to like actually exercise as well, because you can't just like obviously just sit around, you know, do all that shit. And like obviously there has to be like exercise to keep like a certain like health rate,
and if you want to like maintain a goal weight, you have to maintain a certain level of physicality or balance of life. And we have a group of creator friends that one of them is a feedie who does this kind of stuff, and she has to maintain that sort of thing, and it is a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and a lot of the people who are their harshest critics, both of their harshest critics, are the same people who have no fucking clue what goes into it. Like, what goes into all this shit.
Like I remember when she started off, and like it took her forever to kind of get her metabolism going, and everybody was like, "Oh, she's not doing jack shit.
Anything."
Yeah, it's like, "Oh, you're not doing anything. In fact, you're probably losing weight." And it was like,
yeah, it's wild because the people who will like really cheer you on and like want to support you like when you're gaining will be the same people who cut you down if you like go slower or if you end up like plateauing.
Or if you pace yourself because you want to like something happened or something came up.
Or if you want to do something different as well. I found that particularly, like even in kind of my own thing, say if I always want to do something different, like I know majority of my content's Blueberry, but I did like a cherry or like a everlasting gobstopper one, and people were like, "Why the fuck are you doing this? Go back to what you were doing." I was like, geez, you're really fucking me over to this corner.
Right, like you can't be creative now. Like it's wild.
Yeah,
it's just to look at it, and to look at how entitlement flows in sort of a niche kink community. It really emblazons the power dynamics between people. Like for a while, we had a problem with a group of creators who felt entitled to be the arbiter of creation or the center of attention, and to counter that, we had to have people basically just say, no, everyone can create, everyone can do this. We need to build a community, to get more content. We have to have more people making content.
And sure, even like remember when we had the Voice article?
Oh,
people were so against that. Like people were like, "Oh, we don't want this going out to the mass media. We don't want our like thing fetish to become like bigger in mass media. They're gonna make fun of us." And we were like,
we don't want to be destigmatized. We don't want to be humanized. No, let us be the horrifying, terrible pervs in the basement. As I'm sitting in my room, which is in a basement.
It's definitely a comfort level thing. Like people feel safer like being in the shadows, which is fair. It's very fair, especially when it's something that like, you know, if you were to be public with it, people would think you're weird or they would like make fun of you or something.
I've known one person who was bullied for it for some reason. I think that's the most arbitrary and stupid thing to bully someone over.
I mean, let's be honest. When you think of like all the different kinks in the world, this is nothing. This ain't jack
nothing.
shit.
I've seen some fucked shit.
Yeah, especially something that like that's not gonna harm anyone and like very much is inspiration for creativity. Like,
there's only been one tangible instance of like interpersonal issues, and that was because it wasn't even because of the kink itself, but it was because the male partner had no regard or no understanding that the female partner was uncomfortable with it, and it was not very easy for her to do, and he didn't. It was just completely fucking stupid.
And the thing is that if, you know, the fetish did get a little bit more normalized and people were more comfortable talking about it, like even with your friends, you know, saying like, oh, you heard of this weird thing? Yeah, I'm into it. I'm having some issues with my relationship. Maybe we could talk this out. Like, as long as there's some idea of like, oh, I know what this is about, then I feel like more things like that wouldn't happen because it's easier to talk about with like vanilla people or your friends, or just even seeing it and knowing that you're not alone and you don't have to self-isolate if something like that does happen. Because it's similar in the fetus community, because a couple people, you know, it's just like crazy, shocking documentaries, or people who
or that fucking one horror movie or thriller movie, Feed.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it hasn't had good press. And then recently a couple of models chose to go to like the Daily Mail. They didn't go to the Daily Mail, like someone came to them and was like, I would really like to, you know, do a story on you and humanize it. And then they didn't realize that they were being interviewed for the Daily Mail, and of course it was skewed and weird and stuff. So the community like lashed out against these people, like being like, oh, you're making this an unsafe place for everyone. Like, anybody who decides to interview anywhere, like will be you know, blackballed from the community. You're not allowed here. And I'm just like, okay, but like, what does that entail? Like, I understand if you go on and your words are misconstrued and how that could not look good for the community, but
oh yeah,
just
that's not your fault though.
Yeah, exactly. And if you do get the opportunity to actually like, you know, do a little bit more good for the community and try to dispel myths or misconceptions, then that can only do well. But it's very much, people are very against being seen, you know, which I get because we've been like, quote unquote, like in the basement or whatever, like for a while. It's just what we're used to. But I could
it's not in
like,
the closet. This isn't a sexuality. This is a more in the basement sort of.
Yeah, literally. That's why I chose.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just tough. It's tough.
Kind of on that topic, like, how do you feel, say, like, when there's like drama within the community between models? Like, I think the latest one was like Jodie and Bonnie, and then Bonnie was making up facts about her weight and all that, and then Jodie was claiming that she manipulated her and like wouldn't let her like release videos and certain stuff like that. How do you feel like about stuff like that when you hear about that in your community?
I did see that. I'm of the idea whereas this is my community, it's also my job. I never really try to get into drama because I try to be professional. But to give my opinion, when it comes to drama in the community, I think we're in an echo chamber, basically, because it's so small and hears everything, and then they make their own opinions. And then if you want to be quote unquote right or be with like the cool kids, you have to mirror those opinions. It's very cliquish. So when something like that does come out, I think it's a little irresponsible to be so open about it and to use your fan base to get at another person. You know, that's like the most I'll say from that specific instance, because like I've seen them. I don't really know them. I haven't really interacted with them much, but that always kind of never sat right with me when we have these big platforms, even if you aren't like a model, but you are an artist and you have people who, you know, like seeing your content. You have to be aware that like you do have some sway in the community, that people want to like be a part.
You will hurt somebody's life.
Yeah, and people want to be a part of things. So if they see you and they look up to you, and then you're like, oh yeah, this happened and so, and here's the drama, and you don't even say, oh, go get them, it's still kind of like implied, you know, at this point, because everybody's very quick to jump the gun on the internet nowadays. So I
found when it first came out, like a lot of people kind of sided with Jodie, and then as time went on, kind of people flipped back and forth. Like personally, I sided with Jodie because I've had horrible experiences with Bonnie as well, but that's for another time. But yeah, it's just like it's kind of like just the way they kind of did it was a bit like as you said, unprofessional, and they could have like done it like more privately. So, you know.
And it's rough because I'll get more into it because like why not? I'll be messy on the Blueberry podcast, but
yeah.
Yeah.
I can and here's the caveat. I can censor names. I can keep the events the same, but I can censor names. So
No, come on. Don't be a pussy. Don't censor
I'm not,
names.
dude. I'm trying to avoid legal liability. I would like to not go to jail in any way.
Yeah, I'm not gonna like point fingers or anything, but it goes back to what I was saying about using your fan base. A lot of that drama came out because people, like the models in question, were emailing the people who buy from them on Clips for Sale. You know?
I got that fucking email.
Yeah, and I was
Yeah, I saw that as well.
Yeah.
I got that email as well.
And that to me, that's
Like,
that's unprofessional. That's like high school, you know, like if
It
you
is.
have something wrong with someone, you go and you say it to their face. And that's, again, I think social media is making us very bold, you know, for doing these things and telling everybody else what the problem is without going to the person and talking to them. And I believe, like, especially in fetish communities and sex work communities, these really small, tight-knit communities, we have to learn how to be a community again. You know,
we have to unify.
We have
We've
to
been harping on about that in our community as well. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah, like people can, you know, have disagreements and people can not like other people because that's just how being a human is. But if you want to like have a community where people can feel safe and like just welcome, you know, like then you have to be a little bit more mature about conflict resolution, about you know, just not necessarily airing out your dirty laundry so other people can do the work for you. It's very much, how do I want to be treated? How am I going to resolve this conflict? And
respect people.
Yeah, and respect people. And I think because we are like working with fetishes and kink and stuff, it's easy just to kind of be like, oh, well, I already threw like quote unquote decency out the window because everybody's like kink is shameful, even though like whatever, you know.
Shame.
But yeah, you already get into this weird like liminal space of like, I'm already not supposed to be doing this. So
we've had people try and advocate for some really shitty stuff early on, as the community sort of coalesced together and started to build. And there was a big backlash to it because one of the big things I've also found about kink communities is people don't like being told what to do. People just don't. If they're told to do this, they'll go do that. So when somebody starts coming out and saying stuff like, "Oh, X is bad, this is terrible," going for everything without giving any sort of reasoning behind it, just spouting into the void like some people have, they tend to lead to some very dramatic interactions that are very entertaining, but overall unprofessional and unproductive.
Yeah, because that doesn't
and I feel
work.
a lot of people actually do it for clout as well, and then they actually do it to raise their own account. They do it to raise their own notoriety within the community.
Yeah, there have been people who have like dissed creators we've known and sort of tried to create a schism or some sort of split. If I were to, they're trying to split off, and it didn't really work in the way that they'd hoped because they did it out of spite rather than sort of productivity. So the entire structure was to hurt people, and it's very interesting to see these dynamics come and build and then collapse in what could be pretty much a year.
Yeah, it's wild. And going back to what you say about like people saying like, oh, if you have these blanket statements of you can't do this, you can't do that, no one's going to listen to you. It's like, of course, because you think that we're in this fetish community we've been told our whole lives, oh, you can't do this because blah blah blah. Like no, bitch, no. Like I've been told my whole life you can't be fat. I'm like, excuse me, that's like the only thing I want to do.
Bitch,
So
please,
that's
I'm
not
gonna
gonna
eat
work out.
this. I'm gonna eat this burger and flip you off. Fuck you,
Yeah,
ho.
fuck you. A lot of like community building with our fetishes, I feel like comes out of spite.
It is. It is
so we're
mostly
like,
It is
spite.
though. That's true.
so we're like very spiteful about people like saying you can't do that, even if they're saying, oh, maybe you shouldn't be messy on the TL. Like they're like, no, I'm here and I'm a fetishist. Everything is weird. You can't tell me what to do. And it's
I'm
like,
here. I'm weird. Deal with it.
I'm here.
literally,
Fuck you, buddy. Fuck you, buddy.
literally.
I'll do what I want.
But then it's
like-
like we have to have like a certain sense of like self-awareness. Like we still have to be good people, though.
Yeah,
You know,
be a
we're
nice
weird
person.
people,
Don't
but
be shitty.
Mhm.
I want to I fancy myself the historian, and one of the most fascinating historical events I've ever seen in the community was before BBW Chan really took off as a means of distributing art and stuff and interacting with art, or finding people or sharing content illicitly. You absolute bastards who do that.
Yeah, fuck you, cunts.
But the 4chan had their B alternative board or whatever, their alternative hentai board. People would post inflation content, and one of the craziest things that ever happened was there was a big creator named Freaking Weirdo who posted there, and
yes,
he was pushed to a mental breakdown because of people's stringent attitudes against what he liked. Like, and I've talked to him about this. Like, it's not or people have talked to him about it too, like more in depth than I have, because it's hard for him because a bunch of people basically went and said, no, you can't like this in a community in which you can't like anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This isn't real.
Like that was what, 12 years ago now. It feels
so
like
long ago. And
almost
it's
certain
still
12
happening.
years.
That's
Yeah.
still happening. You know, there's so much policing on, especially in fetish communities, of what is all right and what is desired or fashionable. Even everybody goes through trends, and it happens a lot. I've seen with a lot of feedy models where burnout is so high because they're held to such a high standard of constantly gaining weight and like putting out content in this, and the people not respecting them, so that so many people like they do it for a year and then they quit because it's like messed up.
and
Or people
it's
who
hard.
yeah, and people who do art too, like whether it's in like blueberry inflation, weight gain and stuff. People are so pressured to stay within like certain trends or like certain media forms, you know, like shows or like movies that are popular, that if you try to go outside of the box, like either people will like, you know, say some shit about you or they'll just ignore you, which is worse, you know? So it's hard to feel like you can express yourself fully, even though that's what we're all wanting to do anyway. I don't know.
Pretty much exactly what's happened to me, Jingle, other artists, loads of times, where you just get mentally burned out and you just have to take a break before you actually go back.
And when it comes to like adding to the physicality of like feedy content, and having to put out a ton of it, I think there's this illusion that weight gains fast if you're lazy.
Yeah.
It ain't.
I want to like debunk this myth right off the get-go. Weight gains depending upon your fucking metabolism.
And your genetics too. And you won't know. You won't know even if your genetics are gonna fuck up. Yeah, and here's the thing. I gained like about 100 pounds in a year, and then an additional like 75-ish pounds off and on within the next like 2 or 3 years. But then guess what? I developed all of like my food intolerances and shit just like that. Like it was immediate. My body was like, no, you can't eat any of this. And so even though I was really, I mean, like my metabolism was like, fuck yeah, you'll gain as much as you want. Like I'm cool with that. Once I like went there, it was really easy to, but that's not always going to be the case, you know. You never know what. Yeah.
Great example of that. She tried for
Maria Eliza as well. She had like a lot of she had a health scare and she had to stop gaining weight because of that, and she practically lost all the weight that she had gained.
Well, once you get to a certain point, like past what your set point is, like there's always one point where you hit your like first or second plateau where your body is like, you're gonna have to like basically have a part-time job if you want to get past this. It's like it's so expensive and it's like it requires so much effort. Probably I don't know. I mean like I do like working out and bodybuilding and stuff just like for fun. But I will say that it takes as a same amount of effort, if not more effort than bodybuilding and putting on muscle because
Well,
you have
it's
to
a
work
form
again.
of bodybuilding too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's customizing your body to be a specific way, and as opposed to being extremely muscular and veiny, and you know, to be presented as that kind of aspect.
You're just round and fluffy.
Yeah, you're right. You're round and fluffy. That's a good way to put it.
See,
and it's just hard.
It's comparable to like think of how much time and effort you'll put into like an artwork or like a piece of writing or any sort of content, you know, like you want to be validated from the hard work that you put into it. And then if you're not, because of like one thing is off or it's not as you didn't get it out as fast as people wanted it to, like then you don't get the reaction you were hoping for, especially from a community where you felt so safe. Where like we're all doing these weird things and we're all just like trying to like feel like we're a part of something. But if one aspect is off, then apparently I'm wrong.
I relate to this on so many levels. Like I don't even have any words.
Ostracization is a bitch when it's like this kind of a tight-knit thing.
Yeah.
I was banned from a server and pretty much isolated from my friend group because of a stink that happened. And like for a while I was just like, should I even try anymore? Should I get like it was very self-reflective. You're like, oh shit, I feel bad.
After I lost all the weight, like I couldn't keep it on because I couldn't eat the way I used to. Basically I lost so much of my following. Like they just stopped buying my stuff because I wasn't gaining. That's the reason why I had to like divert my brand and the things that I made into something more fantastical to like, or just trying different things just to see like what would stick. Like I tried like boar and burping and like inflation, and then now blueberry. And I feel like after like at least a year and a half, like I finally found my niche again because, you know, as much as I love fetishism and I still do fetishism content, it's a very fickle fetish to make content for because you never know if it's going to sell. Whereas having to be a little bit more creative with something, even though I am putting more time and effort into it, and so there's more of a high risk of maybe not getting back that time and effort, it's worth it because then I can be more creative, and also the people who like it are so responsive. With blueberry, so many people have come out of the woodwork and been like, this is so good, like I loved your thing, like I would love to get another custom from you, or have you ever thought about this or that? And one of my favorite things to do is just chat about fetishes with people and why they like the things they like. And I've had that happen so much more now that I've been doing like blueberry and like vor and like impreg. Like people are coming out and they're like, I liked this. Can we talk about this? And I'm like, yes, you know? So that's been like very fulfilling for me, like kind of diverting my attention after kind of being ostracized a little bit.
After the Vice article and after the Halloween stuff sort of picked up traction, I think one of the big things that happened was it's a generational thing with these communities too. Was a bunch of people who were previously awkward like teenagers were growing up and they're realizing, oh God, there are other people like me. This is great. And then they're like, oh God, there are other people like me. This is horrible. We've had people found relationships. We've had people like do these things. So I'm curious to kind of get your thoughts on if it like I don't know if you've had experience with this, but in terms of building a relationship on Kink, sort of to round this out and kind of bring it to your end, what would you think would be the benefit, detriment? Like, do you advise it? Do you not advise it? Just to sort of round it out with something like that is community benefit and kind of fun.
So like about building relationships and building community.
Yeah, like building like an affectionate relationship as opposed to a communal relationship. I kind of asked that in a fluffy way.
I get it. Yeah, I kind of got where you're saying, but I wanted to just make sure. Yeah. So personally, a lot of my friends that I have IRL are fetists or are fat or in the community. And a lot of that kind of happened like on a fluke. You can do a lot of time and effort into like being online and, you know, talking to people, chatting with people, going on Kik and stuff. But you're never going to really know if you're going to have that connection with someone until you get a little bit more intimate and together. And that may involve Skype if you're long distance, talking on the phone, or meeting up with people. I think we, especially, this goes with community building, but also when it comes to like one-on-one relationships, not all of that can really be behind a screen, you know? And I think that
Right.
a lot of it can be. Like a huge part of building relationships can just be, you know, chatting with someone like every day. But there is like a certain thing to be said about human contact and human relationships that I think has been not really talked about a lot since we are so connected via the internet. But if you can go out to like, I know on Phoebe, they have Phoebe meetups and like BBW bashes and stuff. I know Blueberry might not have that, but like maybe that might be worth looking into, because there's something different about meeting people IRL and getting to have those connections one-on-one, because then you'll see if you're like, you know, compatible as a friend or compatible as like a partner. You just never know. And I think people could be a little bit more bold about saying, I think you're really cool, let's talk on Skype, or I think you're really cool, we should meet up sometime, or, you know, my family is in so-and-so place, I know you're in that area, do you want to go like get something to eat, like, and just talk. And of course, always be safe. Like meet in a public place, let everybody know who you're with and where you're going.
Backup.
Yeah, stranger danger.
Have the owl shot, like, or the angel shot or whatever. Have that shit just ready.
Yeah,
exactly. You obviously be safe, but there is a lot to say about actual real life human connection that I've found just to be so freeing. And again, I'll say a lot of my relationships that I've had within like the community, the kink community, the fetus community, have been flukes. Like, I'll tell this one story and then I'll kind of wrap it up. But my super close friend, that is like one of my closest friends nowadays, had followed me on Tumblr for like a while. And they knew that I was like kind of in the area, you know, like I was like in the Chicagoland vague area. And one day I went to the local, not necessarily local, but like the big mall that was near where I lived.
Oh, yeah.
And I went home, got a message from them saying, hey, I swear to God, I saw you at the mall. I'm so sorry for being weird. Like, I feel like I made a fool of myself. But I just want to know if that was you, or like, and if it was, I'm sorry. And this was right after I got home from the mall. And I was like, oh, I didn't really meet anyone at the mall. Like, so you must be mistaken. But I was at that mall at the exact same time you were, but you mistook me for someone else, or like they saw someone and they thought it was me, went up to them, was like, oh my God, Wood, hey, how's it going? They're like, I don't know. And it wasn't.
Way.
Oh, we were at the same mall at the exact same time. But
you
I was
have
like,
a doppelganger.
I know, it's so weird. It was so weird.
There's a Wood clone out there.
Yeah, literally. I was like, that wasn't me, but I was there at the exact same time. Maybe we should meet up or something, because it's
that's freaking cool.
It was too weird to discount. I was like, yeah, let's meet up. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, let's just settle this right now.
Yeah, exactly. So we met up, and now they're like one of my best friends. So
that's amazing.
If something like that falls in your lap, like obviously that might not happen to anyone else in the history of ever again.
That is such an absolutely amazing coincidence.
Yeah, like, and I feel like when you are in those weird tight-knit communities, like coincidences like that will happen. Like, it's a small community, people will know other people, or like you'll realize you live a little bit closer to that person than you realized, and you're not going to know if you're going to be good friends unless you like go out and see if you guys
take a chance.
Yeah. Take a chance, man. Yeah, so that's what I think. I think that there's a big part of community that we're missing out by not having IRL community, not having those IRL connections.
Honestly,
and if you guys do like a Blueberry meetup, I would love to go. Let's do a Blueberry meetup.
I think the closest thing we've ever had to it was that size con.
Yeah,
as part of the inflation one.
I would
that was
definitely do some. Because I know a couple others who are in this general region of the U.S. If I could somehow miraculously do that, organize, I don't even think we'd need an event space. Given the size of the community, we could just say, "Hey, well, let's just meet up in a park somewhere."
Yeah, let's go to McDonald's. We'll hang out.
McDonald's.
Let's go to Disneyland.
One of us orders a black coffee and then leaves. No. That we could. It could definitely be done. This kind of stuff is working. Communal organization is an important factor in this. We just have to be vigilant and careful about how we do it and who we platform, how we platform them.
When it comes with community, a lot of it is community building, but it's also community policing. It's holding people accountable for doing wrong things and not necessarily canceling them, but being okay,
hey,
this was
you did a bad thing. We need to talk this out.
Yeah, what's going on? And if it's something heinous, then get rid of them. Don't talk to them. Don't let them.
A few of those eggs.
Yeah. But the thing is,
a few of those
know that. Some salty people, but them, and so as long as everybody holds everybody accountable of we're going to do this, but don't invite this person. It's a communal policing sort of thing. Even though fuck the police, but you know what I mean.
It's mutual aid. So just to wrap things up, Wood, thank you very much for joining us. If you'd like to promote anything, promote anything, I know you have your own podcast and stuff. I'll let you do that right now.
If you just want to find any of my stuff, you'll be able to find it on Twitter at Woods Kink Cafe. I have a podcast all about fetism and wellness and similar things to this. It's called Woods Weird Wellness, and that's basically on any podcast app you can find.
Amazing.
You can just Google. Oh, thank you. You can just Google it and you'll be able to find it. And I also do fetish clips. I have a YouTube. I believe it's youtube.com/weirdwood, which also has similar fetus wellness content. And sometimes I pull tarot cards because that's fun. And then I have fetish clips and stuff, which you'll all be able to find by going to my Twitter at Woods King Cafe. Clips for sale, mini vids, all that fun stuff. Yeah. Thank you. I'm actually going to film.
No problem.
I'm going to record an episode after this because I have all my stuff already set up. So
nice.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for coming and talking with us. This was a very in-depth conversation. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope the audience enjoys it. Thank you very much. So
thank you for having me.
Anytime.
And welcome back from the interview. That went fantastic. Went on for a lot longer than I expected.
Probably our longest interview segment.
That was really fun, though. That was really fun.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right. Up next, we have our news segment, as per usual, of different things that have been made in recent history.
Pretty much content that's been made or anything that's really come out, shit.
Yeah. For the first of the news is an update on Riddlercorps' Berry Girl revamp or remake. That is, me and SB have both seen some fantastic images from that.
Yes, we've seen updates on it, and this is going to blow the community away.
Yeah,
it's just unbelievably creative and just amazing.
Yeah,
it looks
really well
so good compared to the comic. It looks identical to it, but it's just absolutely
and the
amazing.
Is done phenomenally. It's very well done. So I cannot wait to see this come to fruition.
Really, Candii has nailed every single expression to a T, to a fucking T in those pictures. It's unbelievably.
And if you want to support Riddler and her continuing work, I suggest you follow Candii on Patreon, and you encourage further content creation in this regard.
You can also support her on Courage too.
Yes, that too, if you want to do a more one-time ordeal. Now, as we continue on in this lovely ordeal, recently there have been clips that have come out from Woods Kink Cafe, whom we interviewed, and from BeauregardeBBW. I have had the luxury of seeing all of the Woods clips, as well as I bought the because I got the Woods clips for a bundle, and I bought the Beauregard clip a couple nights ago, and the Beauregard clip is more Chubb centric, but it's a very nice clip, very interesting, a little quieter, but it's not too bad. I like it.
It's a unique concept.
Yeah,
that she took in executing the clip.
Yeah,
and also just for recent updates, Delilah Dee put out a story time where she's basically explaining kind of an imagination of her experience as Blueberry in the factory. She has a couple of these on. She has one for the Ant marriage scene, different. She has one for the what's it called? The one with the water hose. I forget.
Fuck.
Leslie Nielsen's in the movie. It's just
it's the fire hose, whatever inflation thing. Very interesting.
Yeah, and she just kind of has general ones, but they look pretty good. And then Haylee Love has one where she's
in the makeup
portraying the Violet character, except she calls him Willy Wanker, which is ha ha ha,
ha ha.
Yeah, and she's wearing makeup, and it's just using the belly prop, so it seems alright.
It's nice. And then the final thing, the more big news that came out.
The big one.
The big one. Juliet Michelle, otherwise known as Bishoujomom or Bishoujomom, or however you would like to pronounce it. Bishoujomom dropped her Scarlet Beauregard set. There have been mixed reviews. I would say it's a very worthwhile purchase given the context. Bishoujomom is not in the community, nor is she familiar with it, and from what she was given, the instructions given, she produced a pretty well put together set. All things considered.
Honestly, I was seriously impressed with the quality of the photos for someone who wasn't in the community. I know she's a professional model and she has professional editors, but when I saw that for the first time, I was like, oh fuck! there was some stuff in that I was really not expecting. I was just whoa.
And it looks like she got some well reception from it. It may be a little pricey for a lot of people, and so be it. You can't buy it. Oh well, don't share it. That's just shitty. It does not incentivize creators to come back and make stuff. But I think for the context, who made it, how they made it, and how long it took, it's a lot better than what we could have been given, what could have happened, and
she could have literally done this a bunch of shit.
She could have done padding. She could have not had the suit. She could have just said, "I don't need the suit. I can just achieve this with some padding," and done some very bad job. So she did some very well done stuff, and there's a little behind the scenes video.
There's actual decent morphing in it.
And
it's better than like half the shit on DeviantArt, so that counts for something.
And like I said, she's not familiar with the kink, so it was a deeper foray into what she would be unfamiliar with. So I highly encourage y'all to get it and enjoy it. Other than that,
definitely.
That should be all of the news.
That's basically our news.
Yeah, it was I was one of the first people to who bit the bullet and bought the Juliet set, and I am not at all. I'd say I got my money's worth. That's so it should be fine.
I think a majority of people feel like they got their money's worth.
Yeah, but other than that, it's been pretty good 2020, all things considered.
It's stuff like that you'd love to see more of, like, say people get interacting, like more cosplay models, like actually doing this stuff, because
It's nice engagement, and that kind of segues into our next topic, which is what we'd like to see in the future. This whole podcast is kind of about future projections. I'd say, terms of topic wise. So I'm gonna put you on the hot seat. What would you like to see in the future, SP?
More artists. I think personally, in terms of morphing, we haven't had a big kind of like morph artist since I would say Love and Rape. Like, I'm not going to put myself or Jingle on, the height. Like,
Yeah, that's fair. In terms of like interaction and stuff.
Yeah, like we had your Faraday, you had your Love and Rape, and there's not really been someone that stepped up. And we've had a couple of times where we've had a lot of artists that are they do start showing early signs of like, okay, this could be something huge, but then they stop. Like, I know, like, God, what was his name?
Very
the
big
one.
booty?
No, yeah, that was one of the kind of first ones where like he was like, he could have been something really big, and when me, him, and Jingle did the whole expansion factor, like, well, we were gonna do expansion factor, and then he retired, so
Yeah.
that sucked. And then obviously another one was Poison Gem, and then he quit basically.
Yeah.
I have no problem saying that he quit.
Yeah.
He took his ball and went home.
I think that he would agree with you on that. I think he did quit. That's not a bad thing. That's just kind of what happened.
And then another one is Blue Reverse, but apparently he's coming back. And
yeah, I heard that. So good news.
Yeah, did you hear about the next video that he's thinking about doing? Maybe?
No, I didn't. What was it? I didn't. I just saw that they were coming back.
It's apparently he was talking to someone, and he said that he wants to do one of the characters from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh, interesting.
I think it's like her name's like Melissa something.
All right. Well, I hope that
she's
goes
very good looking. She's a very talented actress.
Yeah.
So, I'd be happy with that. Like Blueberry Verse was like, I thought like that this was going to be this was the next step in evolution. But it's we're kind of not really seeing that. Like a lot of like I think for the last like kind of 2 years, it's kind of just felt like, here's a new artist, let's get excited for them, and then like it's just like it falls back down. Everybody just goes back to let's go have a look at Jingle and SB's page,
Yeah,
and then it just kind of falls flat after that, because like Jingle, he's in college now. I'm finishing up college, thank God, and the two of us, we just find like it's hard for us to actually find the time to actually record and make content and do all this shit. So it's it kind of leaves like a stagnant in the community.
Yeah, when you're trying to find your footing in different parts of life, either entering or leaving college, finding a job, it gets rough to maintain sort of content production. So if you ever wonder why these episodes take so long to produce, blame college. Blame that shit.
Yeah, blame college. Well, though, like with all this coronavirus shit, we'll probably all be in self-isolation, so maybe
Except
it might
for
lead
me,
to
because we don't have paid sick leave. I'm gonna die.
Let's hope not. I need someone to edit this.
That's fair. If I die, this thing fucking hits the. It's gone.
I gotta find a new co-host and someone and an editor.
Yeah.
Or I'm just gonna have to learn how to edit this myself and just do it by myself.
Yeah. If I were to say what needs to happen in the community is,
go on, be vigilant.
I'm trying to think of how to narrate, because I have a lot of aspirations. I have a lot of passion for y'all and stuff. And for starters, I do want to see more animators. Like, I want to see people aspire to animate and to animate well and to animate and to do things because we are seeing people step towards that with the with Fat Factory 88. They are definitely doing that with
Duke
Blueberry
as well.
Verse,
Barry Duke as well.
Yeah, Duke too, and with even Blueberry Verse, simple just editing stuff. That's I want to see us start building that together, and so I want to see some of that. And what I'd really like to see is I'd like to start seeing artists collaborate with other content creators like sex workers and Woods Kink Cafe, building coalitions and interactive networks to sort of start building community identity and stuff.
Yeah, I personally I would love to see that as well, but like I know I'm gonna sound really negative, but I don't think it's possible.
I think it's possible.
I really don't think it's possible. Like I don't know, maybe this is just because of my whole issue with Bonnie or such, but it's very I always found it after that extremely hard to connect with other models.
Yeah, and you have to pick and choose your battles. Like with Woods, it was very fortunate because I was having a bad day, and I decided I'm gonna just give someone some money, and it was 1 a.m. I think my girlfriend was asleep, and if you're listening to this, babe, I owe you a pizza, but
me pizza.
But essentially, I said I feel like giving somebody a gift or something to make myself feel better, because I usually make people feel better make myself feel better by helping other people out and talking and listening to other people, and we got to talking and stuff. So,
hey, if you ever feel depressed, give me some money.
Yeah, that's fair.
Help me out.
Yeah,
I'm joking.
That's so. You just have to pick and choose your battles wisely. You have to be very vigilant, and you have to be proactive about it. Don't go into it assuming that a model is just gonna kiss your ass. Like
of course. Yeah.
Woods talked about how there's a lot of entitlement and stuff, and one of the big things is that there is a lot of entitlement. A bunch of you and I both know there've been people who've decided that they feel more entitled to people's
Instagram community.
Yeah, bodies, artwork, and stuff that they do.
BBW chat.
Then they're willing to compensate it for. Recently, I had to. Riddler, since I'm one of the people that interacts with the Instagram community more forwardly, Riddler asked me personally to sort of talk to somebody who is posting paid content from Candii's Patreon, which is not legal. But
that gets you a prison time, dickhead.
But they had already blocked me because I do have a reputation of going up to people and saying, "Hey, this is this person's content. Can you credit them?" They're asking for you to, "Hey, this is paid content. You have to take this down." And a lot of the reason why they have an aversion to that is teenage agitation. They don't want to really be seen as bad, so they decide to take it out on the person asking them to do something very simple. But honestly, I'd like to see more solidarity, more interaction, more animation, and if I'm going to be real honest, I would like to see maybe a form of meetup or sort of networking events that would sort of build these coalitions. Like if I were to create I'm sure I am absolutely almost certain if I talk to 3 content creators about interacting or doing a Midwestern event, just in some park somewhere, just to do a meetup and talk things out.
I think we could actually book an event.
Yeah,
I think there's enough people.
We don't need an event space, which is different than an event. If we
like something like a size con, I think we could do something like that.
But here's what I mean. Like for start, because I don't want to shoot for the moon almost immediately and just fucking. I want to start small and build that up. Maybe plan the foundations of that. Like I said, with a sort of meetup and networking event, like at a park somewhere, getting lunch, going and chilling out. making sure it's not barred by any sort of fee or anything. So that they can get there, and if need be, people can have transportation. If they can't be, we can make accommodations. I do want to start building this community thing because I have a deep-seated philosophy towards that.
Like, trust me, I would fucking love. I would love one of these days to do a live podcast in front of a crowd. I'd fucking love it.
Yeah,
it'd be fucking amazing.
The thing with that too, all I'd really need is a way to hook up the microphone. Basically, what I would need is a better recording software and stuff, or better recording hardware, just to do it. But even we could just do that. I don't know. We could even just do that here, and we could do that over our computers, and then just have our computers hooked up to microphones that have.
But I think like a live crowd. There's so much we could do. Like, we could watch like a bunch of different shit and just like commentate.
We don't even have to do a podcast. We could even do just a small live show or live viewing of something.
Yeah,
reading.
I think we do eventually. I'm not gonna let the cat out of the bag, but we do want to eventually do some kind of live, kind of watch alongs for charity and all that.
Yeah, and with that stuff, that comes with a bit with other barricades like licensing fees and stuff, which would be a little bigger. But I would love to do that kind of stuff. So,
I know for episode 10 we want to kind of do a really kind of big, watch along of the. I think
want to do something big for episode 10.
Yeah, we want to do something big with a couple of other people,
Yeah, so we could, like basically, I want to see more Blueberry Coalition building and less bridge burning and less shittiness overall. I know that's rich coming from me, whoever likes to think that I'm being hypocritical, but I do want people to come together and actually come to an understanding. I don't want to vilify people as much as as much as it would seem like it. I want people to get better, not worse. Just, I would like to see coalition building, and that's the big thing. And I also want to start reaching out to these content creators like Woods and start
doing like kind of interviews and like getting
interviews, seeing if we can accumulate a form of seeing if we can get some financial motivation to have them produce Blueberry content. I would love to see Ivy Davenport do it because she's already huge and shit. So it'd be really fun to watch her just get all blue and stuff.
But she's like done like a load of like featured films, like mocking like TV. No, I wouldn't say mocking, but parodying TV shows. Like Orange is the New Black, and then there was another one I forget.
Well, yeah, and we can. I like it's pie in the sky too. But like I definitely think it'd be very easy to get a hold of some of these people through different networking channels. Like I'm sure if we had different connections, we could find them.
Trust me. Like I would love that. I would love to interact more with these models, but it's like I said, it's kind of hard with the issue that the one person that I mentioned beforehand, kind of blackmailing my name.
And I'd say that I don't think you're per se blackmailed. I'd say that we just need to take careful steps and stuff. But overall, I think we can
fairly blackmailed. Yeah,
but
definitely.
Other than that, that's what I'd like to see in the future. And with that, let's round it out with some sort of nostalgia and reflection.
Yeah, sure. Like, what do you want to reflect on? Do you want to reflect on how we're all fucked? We're all fucked now with this disease.
No, what I'd really like to do, since it's more of a community thing, let's just look back at the last 10 years as a community and really just really reflect on that, really look at that. For example, Berry Girl, I don't know, it's how old is it now?
It's gotta be came out 2004, I think.
It's almost 20.
Almost 20 years now, and we're getting a whole revamped, and you know, if it's successful, it could lead to like more issues, and you know,
Yeah.
you know, Doc Swell never really got to kind of fulfill his whole dream idea scenario. Whereas
Yeah, we've
now
talked to him about that. Yeah.
yeah. Whereas now, if this is successful, we could have like a full, like, actual continuation of this person's story, and like maybe a conclusion. Because like, there's so many like comics in our thing that we'll never get a conclusion to. Like, we'll never get a conclusion to Beach Blanket. Never.
Yeah, we got a conclusion to it, but we won't get like continuations or add-ons to it because it's like there's a popping end and stuff. And we won't get...
it's implied. You kind of your Islam kind of like said that like on multiple occasions that like he or she left it to like the imagination. So it's like, oh
yeah,
if you wanted to pop, she popped. If she didn't, she didn't.
Yeah, and it's where I'd really like to see these two segments will kind of blend together. A sort of nostalgia, but also not nostalgia lensing, sort of like a retro appreciation. Like if Blueberry if Berry Girl is very well received, which I feel like it would be.
I mean, it has Candii, it has good morphs. What else can you ask for?
I think we could even what could even be created is a sort of zine that distributes this kind of stuff or builds off of it. That would be really interesting. Like Bloomf, if Bloomf could become the community zine that we all subscribe to, and
there could be like a Bloomf for Morphus, you know?
Yeah, or it could incorporate that kind of stuff. It's just we could definitely do that kind of big crazy stuff. It's just over the last 10 years we've grown a lot as people, and it's humbling.
I mean, just to go back to say Doc, when he was like writing up this comic, do you ever think he would think in his head that like shit, like in like 16 years we're gonna have a podcast, we're gonna have a voice articles,
we're gonna have people who say
media,
I was inspired, or I really liked your comic and you did very well, or
yeah, we're gonna have another movie, we're gonna have a shitty Tom and Jerry thing, we're gonna have a crazy New Zealander make this wacky fucking Netflix series.
Like, when I said there was gonna be a golden age, I said I was not lying. Like all those years ago, and some of the first Ultraviolet Zone posts.
Well,
and really,
kids, you're living in it now. You're living it now. Like, just think, like, you know, we have Berry Girl, we have more possibly models and cosplayers actually engaging in this shit. We have more media coming out. We have a whole new series coming out. We have like we're gonna have a whole new market, considering Candii, when eventually they get their kind of house sorted out. There's gonna be a whole different competitor for this content instead of TMC.
We're watching really the if you're to put sort of human history to understand it, we're watching the slow decay of monarchs and sort of the rise of other different societal.
This is basically to put it this way, this is the fall of the empires. This is the fall of absolutism.
Yeah,
and this is the more, I guess you could say,
democratization of the means.
Yeah.
Because like, we don't have people trying to co-opt for simple. Like, we do have people trying to co-opt for clout, but it doesn't really work in niche communities without sort of building a narrative, seizing power without, or seizing control or whatever, from these kind of things. And honestly, I see a lot of good stuff happening. I do see a lot of bad stuff happening.
Oh yeah, of course.
Well.
With
There
the
will
good,
always be
with the good,
bad.
there will always be bad. Yes, but
there will.
You know.
I do see in turn this democratization of things, this distribution from power into a consolidated few, who you give tithing to a power that is given to the people. You also have stuff like BBW Chan, which is not a great site.
And Yif Party.
Like
Yes,
it should be.
Party
It should be
is another one.
yeah. Yift Party too. That's a wider Patreon thing too. But
Yeah.
essentially, what the big problem is, and I wanna really like make this a point. What BBW Chan should be is a message board to sort of coalesce and talk and network. What it is, in my eyes, is
It's a breeding ground of hatred. Let's be
it's a
honest.
breeding ground of hatred and a breeding ground of cynicism and an extremely it's a breeding ground for people to develop some very bad behaviors and habits that will get them into trouble. And I'm not talking like they're going to go and shoot up a mosque or something. This isn't fucking 4chan and people being radicalized by a bunch of stochastic terrorism. I'm talking more about taking people's livelihoods. Like these content creators, we just got done talking with them. These content creators, they make a living off of this. If they can't make a living off of this, they'll leave. Like you got to support these people. Otherwise,
Like we've seen it before. We've seen people just get up and leave.
Yeah, and it's sad. Like the last decade of this community has been the fires that forge steel. It's been hell, to say the least.
We've been crawling through the shit to find the gold,
like
the diamond in the sand.
I can't begin to express to a lot of you audience members. If you're new to this, if you're new to the community, if you're new to all this, 5-6 years ago, this community wouldn't be this tight knit. The people wouldn't be this close and interactive and willing to talk about their kink and be more upfront with people. Fucking 3 years ago, we'd still have people trying their damn near hardest to really be complete assholes and controlling of things. And it's only a recent development that this kind of community closeness has come together.
Like even like 3 years ago, it was the whole like who's the king of the mountain, like looking at the Morphin side, it was like who's the king of the mountain, who's the best.
It wasn't a friendly competition; it was aggression.
Oh
no, it was, and there was no reason for it beyond like, really being like.
It was basically looking back on it now. It was basically a dick measuring contest.
It was trying to be who can be shittier to each other for no reason. It was what caused Poison Gem to leave. It was what caused a lot of people to fall into the woodwork. And I think a lot of the good that's come from this is from people coming forward and saying, I have this kink and I want to understand how to work it into my life, but also be a functioning person, to not be this shameful pervert in the basement who like has to freak out every time he's having sex. There's nothing wrong with having a kink. You can have it. Just appreciate it, foster it, love it, be a good person about it. Like, because like me and SB didn't start as friends. We were aggressive towards each other.
Oh no, I hate you. I tell you, you're a fucking living cunt.
Yeah, like because originally I was the mediator between a lot of these issues, and what I've come to realize is
you were a fucking shit stirrer.
Oh yeah. And the reality of this is we can't really solve these problems by bickering back and forth, by being aggressive towards each other. We have to be a little more community thinking, community oriented. People can't get better from their bad behaviors by pure ostracization.
I suppose a lot of that as well, just to add, was when we were a lot younger, and I think a lot of us have matured.
Yeah, and I want to point out too, if people aren't willing to change, they won't change. If people aren't willing to say, I want to change, they won't change. There's such thing as community justice, community action, and community, I don't know what to call it, but
no, you kind of got it with community justice.
Yeah, we can't point to somebody and make them the de facto justifier or justice person, judiciary. We can't make them define what is good and moral. One of the main reasons I made this podcast is because I don't want to be that guy who defines what's good and moral. I want to come together and come to an understanding and talk with people, because that's important. And I think over the last 10 years, From when I went to from when I was originally making short stories to when I actually started getting more involved as time went on. Y'all have been very nice to me, but also like shit's changed. 10 years ago,
Like even I'll take it like 10 years ago. I didn't know a fucking thing or two about morphing. I was just a fan. You know, I was a fan and like hoping to get like people to actually make this stuff for me. And I'd request people and you get turned down and you'd feel like shit. And you know, of course, you know.
I was like, for all y'all younger kids who listen to us against our will, even though you're not supposed to, because this is a kink podcast.
Yeah, you little bastards. The cunts.
I was once a teenager too. I was once and that wasn't that long ago. I'm fucking 20. It was a year ago, guys. Like, I was a teenager literally last year. Don't fuck with me about this. I know what it's like to be, excuse me, awkward and scared, and like you aren't sure of who you want to really put off about this or who you want to tell about this. So I know. So don't sort of hold it against me. It'll be okay. Just be a little more comfortable in your skin. Be willing to talk to people and trust people.
Put this way. So far as we know, we only really live once. We don't know if there's like an afterlife or reincarnation or anything like that. So like, who really gives a shit? Like, just do do wherever you want, and once it doesn't like you know affect other people or like harm the fucking environment or anything. If you want to go out and fucking eat 2 fucking hot dogs, go fucking do it. Like, if you want to go out and like fucking make a morph of fucking Ariana Grande, go do it. You know. So
yeah, just be careful about how you do it and be courteous to people and be mindful.
Yeah. And always be open to criticism because.
And pay.
I know at first. Yes. I'll get on to that sec. But when you get criticism, I know at first it might feel like, oh, this cunt doesn't know what they're talking about, but they're actually really just trying to help you out in most cases. So
you'll know when somebody's doing it to fucking piss you off.
Yeah.
You'll know. It's very telling. But with that, I think we should sort of start wrapping it up and.
Let's wrap this up like a quesadilla.
So yeah, this was a very fun podcast, sort of getting back in the groove of things, and really nice reflection.
Yeah, and there'll probably be more podcasts if this coronavirus gets any more serious. If it gets more serious, I'm gonna be stuck at home, and you know what that means? It means I'm gonna have a shitload more time to do podcasts and a shitload more time to do GIFs.
I won't. That's the sad part. I will have to quit my job and start community organizing to get food if that shit happens. Because this fucking sucks. But.
Well, I kind of hope this whole coronavirus thing ends soon, or my college.
Me too, because I'd like to go to fucking Japan.
Well, I need my thesis lecture to survive. You know, I don't want her to die.
Yeah.
You know.
Sure.
Yeah.
But this is a good podcast. Y'all have a lovely whatever time it is of day.
You guys have a great time, and make sure to download Raid Shadowberries for 20% off.
Yeah, have a wonderful whatever.